what's a quick definition of smart growth?
Smart growth is about where and how we grow as a nation, as a region, and in our local communities. In the Washington, D.C. region, we see it as a revitalization of our city and our towns, interconnecting these with transit, high-capacity transit like our Metro Rail system, and each community is walking, biking friendly with good access to transit, a mix of different activities so you can walk to school or the store, and of course we have great parks and public spaces, and we preserve our rural areas and our stream valleys.
Okay, great. And what's the connection between smart growth and sustainability? Why should environmentalists care?
You know, they're sort of hard to separate. I certainly, as an environmentalist, think smart growth lies at the core of many solutions to our environmental problems, because smart growth is about using our land more wisely, not consuming as much of it, so we preserve farms and forests. It's about driving less, so we're polluting less, putting down less asphalt. We're helping fight climate change by reducing emissions from transportation. It, in our view, reduces the total amount of water pollution, stormwater running into our streams through compact development. Sustainability, you might argue, includes other things like recycling, green buildings, our energy sector, and so many other aspects of human society, including social equity.
Okay, but basically you have attractive, compact growth with excellent transit, and then you leave more of nature untapped.
Absolutely.
Untrammeled.
And this is, you know, my group, the Coalition for Smarter Growth, was founded by the region's leading conservation groups like the Piedmont Environmental Council, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, the Sierra Club, and Audubon. And we were looking at the issue of where and how we grew as a region and how it was affecting our environment. So yes, and you know, basically environmentalists have become urbanists. And one person coined the term "save the city to save the country." And essentially we're working to save the city and the suburbs, to fix them, to make them work better so that we can preserve our natural areas.
Great. How about your organization in specific, the Coalition for Smarter Growth? How are you working in the Washington, D.C. area?
Well, in keeping with our vision of a revitalized city and a network of transit-oriented communities, we spend a lot of time supporting well-designed, walkable, transit-oriented development with a mix of uses, includes affordable housing, good access to transit, good walking and biking. So that means we'll be supporting a project at Tacoma Metro, which would put 160 to 200 units of housing on top of a metro station. We think that is the most sustainable outcome. Folks who live there will own fewer cars. Some may not own any cars at all, and they'll walk, they'll bike, and they'll use Metro. In addition, you can't have transit-oriented development without the transit. We've got to fight to save our Metro system, which is aging and needs reinvestment, so it needs the funding and the leadership and the fixes to continue to function. We simply can't survive without Metro, and you know, basically giving up on it is not an option, so we need to fix it. In addition, we need expanded transit in the other parts of the region, so we're supporting Route 1 or Route 7 transit in Northern Virginia, transit in Alexandria, an 81-mile bus rapid transit network in Montgomery County combined with the Purple Line light rail. We're also supporting affordable housing because that's part of an equitable community. You know, we need to have the ability for all levels of our workforce to live close to transit and to work, and with great services. And then lastly, with our partners, there's the preservation of our farms and forests and rural areas, that we work with them on those issues. We also work on the benefits of redeveloping our commercial areas with their parking lots in the suburbs. There's a great advantage to that in terms of reducing stormwater into our streams, and so that's another thing we're working on as well.
Okay, the DC region has ambitious goals of at least halving carbon emissions by 2040. How is transportation affecting these goals, and what impact might smart growth policies have on progress?
Well, you know, honestly, the transportation sector is not doing its part in the Washington, D.C. region. We've made a lot of progress in the energy sector as well as green buildings, largely because of state policies more than local policies. Some good local energy administrators, however, and we lead the nation in green LEED certified buildings. However, in the transportation sector, we still have a transportation plan for the region that would that causes more spread out sprawling development, more driving, and doesn't invest enough in transit. So we're very critical of that plan. We pushed hard for a climate study this past year, and while they're considering including a range of energy issues, they are making better land use changes to have more people live and work close to transit. They're really not shifting the amount of funding we're spending on highways over to transit, biking, and walking like we should. So we have to do much more to address the transportation emissions that contribute to climate change in the DC region. I mean, it is fortunate that we're standing where we are. I have a Capital bike share going by behind me right now. We're standing by a bunch of bike racks at an elementary school here in the city, and as we've been doing this interview, we've had lots of people biking and walking past us. And so each one of the folks that are here that are going about their daily activities without driving are contributing to reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. So that's a positive.
All right, well, thank you very much.